Hey, in this episode, we're going to reverse engineer Grüns' $500 million supplement marketing machine. So in 2 years, Grüns went from zero to $500 million valuation, selling gummy vitamins in a market that was already very saturated. The format wasn't new. The convenient on-the-go positioning wasn't innovative. So what actually drove their success? This deep dive reveals the marketing strategy most case studies miss. And while Grüns markets to a massive total addressable market, a total TAM, with generic nutrition gaps as their main messaging, they actually convert customers a very different way. They use PA funnels. PA funnels convert 3 to 4 times higher than the industry average, and they get customers with higher lifetime value. Inside this episode, you'll find the exact PA funnel framework Grüns uses, complete with our customer research methodology that you can use, and a step-by-step guide for any supplement brand looking to move beyond generic wellness as your messaging. You'll learn why chasing the biggest TAM with generic marketing kills conversion rates. You'll also learn the 3-tier framework that determines purchasing behavior and 4 specific PA funnels that Grüns uses. They use more than that, actually, but we'll just talk about 4. And you'll get the complete PA funnel template that you can implement immediately in this episode. Let's get to it. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. 2 days into his new supplement routine, Chad Janis, the co-founder of Grüns, stares at his empty Athletic Greens drink. This weird sediment that sits at the bottom of his glass looks like wet sand. $99 a month for this, he thinks? He's tried everything. He's tried shaking the bottle harder to mix better. He's tried adding more water, less water, cold water, warm water. Nothing works. It still doesn't quite mix properly. And the taste hits his tongue and his face involuntarily scrunches. Again, he forces it down and immediately thinks, there's no way I'm doing this for 30 days. That's when it clicks. Not about the taste, not about the texture, about something bigger. He opens his laptop and starts typing notes. Everyone's optimizing ingredients. Nobody's optimizing for the fact that people hate taking supplements. What if the problem isn't what's in it? What if the problem is that nobody actually wants to take it? Fast forward 2 years, 250,000 people pay $48 a month for gummy bears. The same nutrition promise as that chalky powder, a different delivery system, and a $500 million valuation. This is the insight that built Grüns' empire. The key strategic insight here is that compliance beats form factor. The best supplement in the world is worthless if people quit after 3 days. Grüns' meteoric rise in the D2C supplement marketing industry was actually very practical. They found product market fit with the format that people preferred. They executed systematic D2C marketing better than their competitors. And they built an operational infrastructure that enabled retail partnerships. But here's where most D2C supplement brands would stumble. They'd launch with a single value proposition and hope that it resonates widely enough to scale. Grüns did something smarter. They recognized that while gummy format itself solved the compliance problem, it didn't solve the urgency problem. A better format doesn't make people care about nutrition gaps any more than they did before. So they built a dual strategy approach. Strategy number 1, cast a wide net as wide as possible to go after the big TAM with the generic nutrition gap messaging that you can see on their homepage. And strategy number 2 was drive targeted traffic through specific problem funnels that convert 3 to 4 times higher because they address urgent, immediate pain points. This is the marketing equivalent of having your cake and eating it too. A massive TAM for brand awareness and specific problem targeting for actual customer acquisition. Let's break down how they executed the strategy, because that's where the real revenue comes from. Hey, just a quick break here. Have you ever wished someone could just look under the hood of your business and tell you what's not working, what you need to double down on, and how to really grow? That's exactly what I do on a business audit. I've helped generate over several $1 million in revenue for supplement brands just like yours. I've audited profit and loss statements and generated hundreds of millions of dollars for several supplement brands at this point. And we did it all by delivering a proven system built to generate results across every stage of your supplement D2C business. So if you're ready to scale with clarity and confidence, apply to become a client at creativethirst.com. I'll show you exactly how to unlock your next stage of growth. Now let's get back to the show. So what set Grüns apart is that they didn't fall into the trap that most supplement brands make. Most supplement brands chase the biggest addressable market possible. The supplement industry is way too competitive for that. Now, Grüns is chasing a very big TAM, people with nutrition gaps. That includes 92% of people, according to their homepage messaging. Now, the trap is that your messaging then resonates with no one because the problem isn't urgent enough to drive a purchase behavior. Grüns was smart enough, though, not to fall into this trap. So if you want to succeed in the supplement game, go after a more urgent problem. Nutrition gaps ain't it. But the messaging fails because it tries to solve a problem people don't actively care about. That's the problem of going after a big TAM. When someone wakes up in the morning, they're not thinking, I wonder if I'm getting enough B12. I wonder if I'm deficient in vitamin D. They're thinking about specific, immediate concerns, like my digestion has been off, or I'm dragging during workouts, or I can't seem to lose these last 10 pounds, or I'm just exhausted. The strategic lesson is that urgent problems in smaller markets often generate more revenue than non-urgent problems in larger markets because urgency drives buying behavior in ways that market size alone cannot. You still need the 4 forces that we talk about a lot on this podcast: trust, belief, desire, and hope. But you need a higher level strategy on top of that. So, how do you solve this? How do you go after the biggest TAM and also get down to the problem-aware people? So Grüns goes after a large addressable market, like I said, right? That 92% who's with generic messaging on their homepage who has nutrition gaps. The value proposition on their homepage is this: you have nutrition gaps, Grüns fills them. It's quite simple and straightforward. And they also target smaller specific audiences with urgent problems and position their product as the obvious solution with PA funnels. Now the result is a landing page that converts 3 to 4 times higher than a generic comprehensive nutrition messaging, and customers who feel like that the product was designed specifically for their exact situation. So what is the PA funnel strategy that Grüns used to grow quickly? Well, let's break it down. Grüns understood that abstract health optimization doesn't create urgency, right? Specific pain points do. Yet most supplements marketing operates in the wrong quadrant of the awareness versus urgency matrix. This gets a little bit into the customer awareness level, and we've had past episodes where we've talked about that. But to give you a very high level, here are the 4 quadrants. You have high awareness and low urgency. Those customers are hard to convert. You have low awareness and high urgency. Those customers need education in order to convert and buy. The next quadrant, you have high awareness and high urgency. Those customers are the easiest to convert into buyers. In the final quadrant, you have low awareness and low urgency. Those customers are impossible to convert, and you should avoid going after them. You're just going to burn marketing dollars. So what did Grüns do differently? They focused on the high awareness, high urgency quadrant. This is the quadrant that is easiest to convert. And they did this by targeting people who already knew they had specific problems and they were actively seeking solutions. But not all problems are created equal. There are several levels of problems, and we'll get into a few here, right? So we have tier 1 problems, which is an immediate pain point, very high urgency. These are problems where people experience these problems daily and they actively want them solved, right? These are problems like digestive issues, right? Bloating, irregular bowel movements, constipation, stomach discomfort. They also include problems like energy crashes, right? That afternoon fatigue, that morning sluggishness. And of course, the holy grail of all of them, the biggest problem of all, weight loss struggles, right? Slow metabolism, constant cravings, plateaus in dieting. People with tier 1 problems have an emotional urgency that drives a faster purchase decision. Let's look at tier 2 and tier 3 problems before we get into the specifics. Tier 2 problems are lifestyle optimization problems, right? This is medium level urgency. These are problems that people want solved, but they aren't in daily pain about them, right? These are things like convenience factors, right? Complicated supplement routines, travel difficulties, going to stick pouches versus, scoops. There are also problems like competitive alternatives, right? Switching from an expensive competitor to a cheaper option. So people within the tier 2 problem sector typically have a longer purchase consideration period than tier 1. And they are typically more price sensitive than tier 1 problem people. Now, tier 3 problems are really prevention and general health problems. These are very low urgency. These are problems that are important, but they're so far off the radar of most people that it's tomorrow's problem. They don't think about it today. They put it off to tomorrow. These are things like nutrition and general vitamin and mineral deficiencies. These are problems like long-term wellness, immune system support, although you may think of that only during the flu and cold season. And problems like just being healthy overall, like which most people really only think about for New Year's resolutions and the beginning of a new year. Other than that, they really don't think about it. It's not as urgent. It's only urgent during the New Year's resolution time. So people with tier 3 problems are the hardest to convert without significant nurturing. So this tier requires extensive education and authority building. It's a longer tier. It does work, but it's a longer road. Now they are the most price sensitive in tier 3. They also have the longest sales cycle, like I mentioned, and are the highest risk for churn because they're not going to stick because they haven't really bought into the pain of the pain is not high enough, essentially, right? So Grüns solved this by focusing on problem urgency, tier 1 problems, which informed their entire marketing strategy. So the strategic insight here is that instead of trying to elevate tier 3 problems to tier 1 urgency, which is expensive and difficult, they positioned their product to solve existing tier 1 problems that people already cared about. And they did this using PA funnels. So what is a PA funnel? It's a problem awareness funnel, and it has 3 steps. Add to landing page to cart. So rather than driving all the traffic to a generic homepage, Grüns created dedicated funnels for each major problem their supplement can solve. Now, this limited each funnel to one problem in each ad, leading to the same single problem on the landing page. And each landing page is optimized for a specific customer avatar with one specific pain point. Pain points that are much higher up in urgency than nutrition deficiency. Here's what Connor Dalt, the CMO of Grüns, has to say.
For me, it's much more about like, what are we saying about this product to a specific audience and being consistent with that. And so that's where I think there's so much power in compounding messaging effects. So if we're going to start talking about the benefits of fiber that can come from Grüns, what I don't think is best is for the way that we talk about the average American being under fibered and that Grüns can help you address those gaps. I don't want that being said in too many disparate ways wherever you encounter us, because I think it starts to lose some of its effect. But if we're going to go out into the wild with a new acquisition angle and start talking about this as a reason to try Grüns and stick with Grüns, I think having that consistency pull through into the landing page experience and into the retention journey that you get brought along is super impactful.
So the big key takeaway here is that acquisition funnel. Your homepage is not the best place to bring in a brand new customer. Grüns knows that, and that's why they follow this problem awareness funnel. They did several problem awareness funnels, and the problem that they went after was tier 1, like we talked about, high level. So the first one that we're going to look at is the fiber hook. So they created a funnel specifically around this fiber hook. And again, that funnel consists very simply of an ad with one problem that leads to a advertorial or pre-sale page with that one problem and then directly to cart. So the target customer for the fiber hook that they used is people that are experiencing digestive issues. These are irregular bowel movements or bloating type of people. And the hook they used is 9 reasons why Grüns is the daily fiber upgrade your body has been missing. That's literally the headline on the page. The pain point identifies with most people that only get a low amount of fiber, 15 grams of fiber daily. You need 35 grams. They're hitting the bloating people, the people with irregular bowel movements. These are tier 1 problems, folks. And fiber supplements taste awful, and they cause gas and cramping if you take too much. So the solution positioning against those pain point problems is just a simple Grüns gummy, right? It's 6 grams of soluble fiber that actually tastes good, no bloating or gas like traditional fiber supplements, and it helps you feel fuller, longer, and reduces cravings. So they went higher up, tier 1, not the generic nutrition gaps, which you'll find on their homepage. But like I said, this is only one of several problem awareness funnels. The second one they did was going after the gut health hook, a much bigger, broader TAM, but it's very specific and it's still tier 1. So the target customer here is people interested in gut health, prebiotics, probiotics, digestive wellness. And the hook they used here is 6 reasons why Grüns is your gut's new bestie. A little cute, but at least they have the gut in there to target those people. And again, this is an advertorial page just like before, and it's essentially a listicle, right? We have 6 reasons on this one. We had 9 reasons on the previous one. And they're getting into a little bit more educational content on this page. They're talking about prebiotics versus probiotics. They're educating the customer a little bit here. They're going after the microbiome science and fiber benefits. So there's still a connection to fiber. And there's also a connection with gut health and overall wellness. Again, a little bit bigger of a TAM than what we just looked at with the fiber problem. And the problem framework that they follow on this page is that your gut controls 80% of your immune system. Good gut support equals low energy and mood issues and skin problems. And most gut health products only address part of the problem. So they're going a little bit wider here and going after a bigger audience. But again, it's tier 1 and it's more specific than the nutrition gaps on their homepage. The unique value proposition on this particular problem awareness funnel is a comprehensive gut support in one daily pack. So prebiotics plus fiber plus whole food nutrients. And that's what their supplement really is and what the supplement basically provides. It feeds the good bacteria while crowding out the bad bacteria. So they put it in simple terms like that. Their next problem awareness funnel goes after a weight loss market. Again, a tier 1 problem. The target customer here are people that are actively trying to lose weight, especially those struggling with cravings. So the hook they use, again, is a listicle. 6 reasons why Grüns is a must-have on your weight loss journey. A very simple headline, nothing fancy, nothing outrageous, no big claims, but we target the audience with weight loss in the headline, in the hook, and also in the ad. So the pain point that they're using here to identify with this tier 1 market is that diets often lack nutrients. And people who are dieting are constantly craving and sabotaging their progress to lose weight. They also have low energy that makes workouts even harder. So they're hitting the pain points of that weight loss avatar. And then it's the same or similar positioning that we saw on the fiber page. 6 grams of fiber is a solution that helps you feel fuller on fewer calories, but it's orientated towards that weight loss customer. It's very specific. They also add in complete nutrition benefits for deficiency cravings. So this prevents deficiency cravings. And finally, they hit the natural energy boost so that you can get better workouts in. Those are all the desires that this audience wants. Again, going back to the framework of trust, belief, desire, and hope. They add some social proof and they add some lifestyle integration by replacing your afternoon snacks cravings. So the page is really talking about the weight loss customer and the struggles that they have, positioning Grüns as the solution. The fourth one and final one that we're going to look at here, or talk about rather, in this audio podcast is the problem awareness funnel for the GLP-1 support hook. Like they're going after GLP-1 support people, right? People who are on GLP-1, and the hook they're using are, again, another listicle. 7 benefits GLP-1 users, they're calling out them in the headline, love about Grüns, besides the poops, because constipation is a problem with GLP-1 users. So those are some of the pain points that they tie into. Reduced appetite can lead to nutrition deficiencies. Their product is perfectly positioned for that. Common GLP-1 side effects include nausea and digestive issues. Again, the fiber in their product is well positioned for that problem as well. And the final pain point they use is it's hard to get complete nutrition when you're eating less. So all of these, even though they're broad solution is nutrition deficiencies, which is not high enough on the problem tier, they're still working that into the hooks by using ancillary problem awareness funnels. Problem awareness funnels just convert better. They have a better message to market match. So visitors feel like they've found exactly what they're looking for. It's not a generic solution that they have to adapt. It's very specific and it feels almost customized or personalized. But problem awareness funnels also reduce the cognitive load on the visitor. So instead of trying to figure out if comprehensive nutrition applies to their specific problems, the solution is explicitly designed for their situation. Problem awareness funnels also enhance social proof because you can take testimonials from people with the same specific problem and put those on your landing page and in your ads, and those carry a lot more weight than a generic health improvement story. And the final reason why problem awareness pages and funnels convert better is urgency amplification. We talked about this before at the beginning of this podcast. Specific problems create a natural urgency that just general awareness or general health or deficiency just simply can't match. So the strategic advantage here is this. Grüns' problem awareness funnel strategy created multiple competitive advantages, which you can also create with your supplement. So the first advantage it created was lower customer acquisition costs. So people are actively seeking solutions for these specific problems. They're not actively seeking solutions for general health or deficiencies, at least not as much. And they convert faster and at higher rates than people that need more education about general wellness, because we're treating it like a very fast slide. They're getting right into that problem from the ad that is very well greased on the landing page to that same exact problem, and then presenting them with a solution and offer right there. The second advantage is that it creates a higher customer lifetime value. So customers who find specific solutions to real problems tend to stick longer, and they tend to evangelize the product to others with similar problems. This helps with the trust aspect of the trust, belief, desire, and hope framework. The third area of strategic advantage is it's a defensible market position because it's harder for competitors to replicate a problem-specific positioning than it is for a generic comprehensive nutrition messaging. Fourth, it's a scalable framework. The same approach works across multiple problems, allowing systemic expansion into new customer segments. It's not just these 4 problem awareness funnels that they have created. There's well over 10 at this point. And finally, the other strategic advantage is that the product development is another area here. You get a clear understanding of specific customer problems. The more you do this, the more you understand your customers, the more deeper you go into the specific problems. And those problems inform future product innovation and messaging of other product awareness funnels. So it's a self-replicating loop system that keeps feeding back to the direct-to-consumer supplement companies. So the lesson here for supplement brands is not to copy Grüns. Don't copy their specific problems. It's to understand that a problem awareness beats a product awareness. So when you solve problems people already know they have, the marketing becomes dramatically easier and more effective. Instead of trying to convince people that they need better nutrition, identify the specific problems your nutrition solution actually solves, those ancillary problems, those sideways problems, those adjacent problems that are connected to it. Then build your entire marketing strategy around those problems, not your product features. Most supplement product detail pages are built around product features, which is really just, here's what it does, it supports this, it supports that, and there's a whole list of them. And that doesn't get specific enough that problem awareness funnels do. So companies that will dominate the supplement marketing game in the next decade won't be those with the best ingredients or the most comprehensive formulations. I believe they'll be those who understand their customers' real problems better than anyone else, and those that position their solutions accordingly. So if you need help getting started here, the problem awareness funnel framework that we use at Creative Thirst is what I'm going to give you next. And it's really quite simple. The first step is to research and validate the problems. Now, you may already know this intuitively because you're connected to the customer, but it's a really good idea to send an email with a quick survey to your email list and ask these questions. What specific health issue brought you to look for supplements? The next question I would ask is, how does this problem affect your daily life? And then ask, what have you tried before to solve this problem? And then finally, what would need to happen for you to consider this problem solved? Make all of those questions in the survey open-ended questions, and then follow up with these questions in exactly the same survey. How often do you think about this problem? Because you want to understand how urgent it is. What triggers made this problem or make this problem worse? And how would you describe this problem to friends? You're looking for the language that they're using so that you could feed that back into the ads, into the problem awareness funnel copy. That's step 1. Step 2 is to score each potential problem on a scale of 1 to 10. So look at frequency, how often people experience the problem. Rate that on a 1 to 10. Look at intensity. How much does it bother them? Again, a 1 to 10. Look at urgency. How actively are they seeking solutions? 1 to 10. You could look at things like Google Trends to see how much they're searching for that problem. You could also scale it on market size. How many people in your survey had this problem? Again, a 1 to 10. And then look for solution gaps. How poorly do current solutions work, and scale that on a 1 to 10. So your total score is the sum of all those factors in step 2. Now, you want to focus on problems that have a score of at least 35 or higher. You want to focus on those first. You can get to the rest later, but those are the ones you're going to start with first for a problem awareness funnel. And now step 3 is to build your landing page using the following problem awareness landing page structure that I'm about to give you. And if you're having difficulty with this, or if this sounds too complicated, reach out to me, and we have a whole team here at Creative Thirst that can build a problem awareness funnel for you, and we can tie it into ads, and we can really take you to that next level. So the problem awareness landing page structure that we use goes like this. The first section is the problem identification and amplification section. We're leaning into the problem, and we are amplifying it and turning the knife. We're focusing on one hook that resonates with a specific pain point. We're adding statistics that make the problem feel bigger and more urgent. And we're adding a little bit of "you're not alone" messaging, a sense of a community, that there are other people struggling with this. Again, we're going back to the trust, belief, desire, and hope framework. Second section on the problem awareness funnel landing page is the current solution failures. Here's where we're amplifying the problem. Talk about why existing solutions didn't work before. Include common frustrations with current options. This goes back to the language that your customers are using. Expose the gaps between what people want versus what's available. And then section 3 on your landing page is the specific solution positioning. This is where your product comes in. This is where your unique mechanism of action comes back in. This is how your product specifically addresses the problem, the unique mechanism that solves those pain points, and the differentiation from generic solutions. The fourth section on the landing page is the problem-specific social proof. This is gathering testimonials from people with the same problem. This is before and after stories showing specific improvements. This is community endorsements from relevant groups. And if you don't have these things, if you don't have testimonials, you can still create this page without this section. It just won't be as powerful, and we have a few ninja tactics that we reserve for paid clients to get these testimonials and add them to these problem awareness funnels. And then the final section in your problem awareness funnel page is risk reversal and urgency guarantees that are specific to the problem solution, a timeline for when they'll see improvements, scarcity based on problem-specific demand, and then, of course, the offer. So that leads me to step 4 in the process, which is testing and optimization and the methodology that we use to follow, because you're not necessarily going to hit it right out of the gate. You need optimization, you need A/B testing, and this is the framework we use to test this. So the first 2 weeks is you're really validating the problem, right? You're testing 3 to 4 problems. You have 3 to 4 focused funnels. You're measuring conversion rate. You're measuring engagement time on the page, scroll depth on the page. You're really looking to identify the top 2 performing problems, the 2 biggest angles, the 2 biggest hooks. And you're looking at ad data too. You're looking at click-through data. You're looking at engagement data on the video ads. And weeks 3 to 4, you are doing messaging optimization. You're testing different problem approaches, different ways to speak about the problems in the ad. You're testing different social proof. You're testing different customer types or different customer avatars. You're optimizing the headline. You're optimizing the hook and the messaging on the page as well as the ad. Weeks 5 to 8, you're integrating the funnel. You're creating the matching ad creative for the top performing pages, and you're testing traffic. And you're really measuring the full funnel performance at this stage from the ad to the purchase. And then weeks 9 to 12 is about scaling and expanding. You're scaling your budget on winning problem-specific funnels. You're developing additional problem angles for testing. And you're looking at all the metrics. You're looking at conversion rate from landing page to purchase. You're looking at average order value by problem type. You're looking at the customer lifetime value based on the acquisition problem. This is a little harder to do. It needs a little burn-in time. You're looking also at referral rates, right? People with the same problem, are they referring others? You're reaching out to those people in additional surveys through email follow-up sequences. You're looking at retention rates and stick rates on retention and how well the problem is being solved for those problems. Again, looking at each problem individually. So now that you have the framework and you have some examples and you have a methodology to follow, now it's time to put that into action. So take some notes, listen to this podcast again if you have to. If you're having any trouble implementing this, please reach out to me at Bobby, BOBBY, at creativethirst.com, or just go to creativethirst.com and fill out the application to become a client. We'd be more than happy to help you get this implemented, increase lifetime value, increase conversion rate, and really help you grow and scale your supplement business.